Good afternoon, viewers out there. Today I will be talking about the what's it called? Streaming to AWS platform with an easy way. What I mean with an easy way is, doing your settings without adding too much, settings. Just a little bit, little settings can make you go live on, AWS platform. So where I'll be starting from today, I'll be talking about, over here, this is the company's name, Comworks Ltd. The next page is this. I'll be starting from the media package. Although they have media, we're going to be using two services today to make this live stream possible. We'll be using the media package and the media live. So therefore, I'll be starting with the media package. Here, over on the media package, we'll be creating two sessions, the channel and the endpoint. So here is the display of the first. Those if you're a new user on AWS, you won't see this as your first interface. But if you already have an AWS console, maybe you've already tried making a YouTube channel. This is going to be the first interface you're going to see. So if you get to this point, you have to go in. If you're a first user, you have to come to this search bar and type in media package. Once you type in media package, you'll get to look over here. The channel is here, which gives you the opportunity to create more channels. These are channels that I have created before now. So you get to click this first. You go click this channel first, then you have to create a channel inside the channel console. So once you click the channel, you have to come to it will bring out this display. So therefore, you have to make an ID. An ID is very important while creating a channel on the media package. So you create an ID and give a description. A description can be anything that makes you, get to remember or just to describe your channel. That is what it means. Then this is just a short way which you could make your ID much more professional. But I just put this here without making too much complication on it. So therefore, you have to go next. This is the input type. The input type gives you the opportunity, but over here, I think the AWS console already, made this only. The Apple HLS. That's the only one you can find presently. So you make it. These three aspects has to be set for this channel to be able to come to reality. Next, this is the configure access login. Over here, it takes you to another platform. So therefore, today we won't be talking about this. We won't be touching any of this. While the last part is CloudFront distribution. This is another service on AWS that it is shortly defined as an edge point. When you go next time we'll talk about the CloudFront. So today we are not using CloudFront. We'll be do not create a CloudFront distribution for this channel, which means it would not automatically create a channel for us on the CloudFront. So therefore, we'll be clicking this and not this. So after that, you have to go down to your screen and click create. So once you click create, this is the interface of the new created channel. This is the ID. This is an input. This input means this input is just like a reference. You have to use this input to make it connect to the media live. We'll do that later. But this is what you're going to see once you create your channel. So inside the channel, you have to go down to the right hand side there's a place you'll find a bar, endpoint. Then you'll find the button, add an endpoint. So once you click on endpoint, you have the opportunity to create an endpoint. This is the aspect that gives you the opportunity for your clients or those out there to see what you're live streaming. This is where you create the endpoint of what you're bringing in. This area gives it out to those that want to watch it. That's just a little description of it. So here also you have to make an ID and a description. Even if you don't want to make description, fine, but I recommend you to make a description for you to know when next you come in this console. This is the only place you have to set. There are other settings there, but right now we're not going to touch or make highlights on that. So you go to the left hand side and click create. So once you click create, you get the new endpoint you created. You could create more endpoints if you want to create more endpoints, but here I will leave it here just like this. This is the endpoint, and this is where your media package ends. This is the little theory about the media package. Next, we'll be going to the media live, which we're going to use this same account, this same new account we have created before now to connect to media live. So right now, this is where it ends. Now we're going to media live explanation. Here we're going to be talking about the media live. Let me just give a little bit highlight about the media live. The media live is a kind of the broadcast, where the area that gets the data that comes from your encoder. So it gets this data to give it out to the media package. So right now we're going to be giving a little bit explanation of how to make the short, settings or the easy settings to get to live streaming. Now, this is the display you're going to get once you do the same thing. Come here, you type in media live, then it gives you this display. If you already had an account before, or you already tried making creating a media live channel or an input, you're going to see this. And these are the channels, these are the inputs I have created before now. So right now we're going to be creating the input for the media live. This input gets the stream that comes from the data that come from your encoder to pass it on to the media channel that gives it to media live that gives it onto the media package. So therefore, right now we'll be clicking on, here in Japanese it's called Niroku. If you are Japanese, you'll be getting what I'm saying from the things that are written in here. I'm sorry, we're using English today. Next, you're going to click create. Niroku no Sakusei. We're going to be clicking that and it takes us to where we're going to create it. Over here, you're going to give it a name. Once you give it a name, then you have different options. If you're going to be getting your data from the ROTMP, pull, push, HLS, MP4, which it has different options. But today we're going to be using the ROTMP push. So next you click, you select which you're going to be using, then then you scroll down, you find this. You're going to, by default, it's going to give you public, the network mode, so you don't have to worry about that. You have to leave it there. So we're going to be coming back to this part. You have to make a security. Originally, I already had some here, which if you already had some here before now, you're going to be making a security for this input. If you don't have before, you have to click success. When you are using the English form, it's going to write create. You're going to make a new one. Then you go in here, to click to type in 0.0.0.0/0. That is the easy code you could use to make this. So here I already had mine before, which I said if you click here, it's going to bring out every other ones you had before. I already had my own, so you're going to be using this. If you don't have before, you have to, click this, and it gives you the opportunity of making yours. Just type in 0.0.0.0/0. That is what you're going to be putting in. So next, you scroll down. We're going to be making our application and instance. What this means is this: the application. This is the blue inside this red box. You find the blue box and the yellow box. So inside this blue box, this is the application. In AWS, it means if you already had the knowledge of using RTMP encoder, you have to have a URL and a key. It's just like when you're using the YouTube as well. YouTube also has a URL and a key. So this application aspect adds a unique name to your URL. The end of your URL, it adds the unique name to it in order for you to know this, to recognize this URL and all that. So lastly, this instance is the key. It represents the key, just like the AWS key. Over here, this takes the stands, or otherwise is not, for me, I call it the key. So you take it, you have to create the key yourself. AWS does not create the key for you and the application. So you have to create the key and the application yourself. While creating the application, you could use same name or same letters. It's okay. But when you are creating the key, make sure you try to differentiate these two keys with a letter or something. Like here, I indicated the last one with 1. I didn't put on the first one, which is Christopher. My name is Christopher, so that was why I divided my name into two to use it as an application name and the key. So once you're done with that, you go down, you click create. Once you click create, it will create the channel for you and you'll be done. So this is where it ends. Now we're going to the channel aspect. This is the last part which you have to create for you to be okay and for you to have the confidence. Yeah, now I can live stream out to the internet, to the browser, where anyone could access it from the browser. Now we're going to be creating a channel. We already created an input for the channel, so we're going to be creating a channel now, and we'll add that input in that channel. Then the last part, we're going to add the media package channel to this input as well, in order for all these branches to connect together. So we start from here. First, before we created an input, the numerical, but now we are not going back to that. You'll be going to the channel. You look for the channel and you click on channel. Once you click on channel, then you have to create channel no success. You have to create it to get a room to create a channel. These are already created channels for me. There's a kind of sign of codes to create a channel to indicate kind of a way to make it more professional. So you create a channel by clicking this. Now the first part you're going to see is the channel and input. Over here it's just written channel and numerical. So you're going to get, first of all, you're going to click on that, then you're going to find this display. Once you have this display, you first of all give it a name. That is the first thing you have to do in every channel or in every input you make. Secondly, just before now, when we're trying to create a key, sorry, a security. Over here, you're going to create another security. But first of all, this security, it can be created as well if you want to create a security key, customize security key. You have to create. But I already have, which I feel everyone already has a security key. Those that already tried creating before, you had a security key. So you have to click on this, an IAM security key. This is the permission, just like permission before towards this channel. Recognition to the channel. So you have to select your security role. This is not a key, this is a security role, like the access role, but which it is gotten from the IAM role as well. So you click, you select your security role, so just your security role, your access role. You have to select your access role. Then you scroll down to the template. This is a channels template. What are we doing here? Over here, you're going to define where the endpoint, where are you, distributing this data to? Where are you distributing this streaming to? So this, you're going to make it, because before now we created a media package channel. So in order for you to make much more settings on it, they kind of created a template, an easy template. This over here, you have to just click this and it automatically gives you, different outputs created by AWS, not you setting your outputs that gives you some error sometimes. But first, the best way to make it easy, if you have other, settings to make, you could do it much more in another pattern. Or when you finally create this, I'll show you later where to set other settings if you like to set. So therefore, you have to click the media package. Once you click on the media package, the HTTP live streaming, which this stands for HLS. That is this is the full meaning of HLS, HTTP live streaming. So you have to click on that. We have two HLS as well, but you have to click on the media package. If you click on this, you have to do a lot of settings on it for it to connect to this, to the account, to the channel you created on media package. So once you click on this, you'll be done with that. So because you clicked the media package, the HLS media package, the HTTP live streaming media package, it will automatically gives you an output by the left hand side. So once it gives you an output, you have to click on that output, which is the media package group. Once you click on it, so now you're going to select the channel which you created on media package before, for it to connect or recognize that that is the endpoint you're going to be streaming to, that's going to be doing your distribution. So you're going to select these. Once you select your channel, then you have to give it a name. This name edits this other name here. This is the media package. So once you put in another name, it will edit this one and give you what you want to call your output. So for just like what I explained, this was the channel we created before. So this is the channel. I selected the channel. Now I gave it a name. It becomes Comworks, which I created. I input before now. So it's automatically changed the name for you. So secondly, on that same output platform, you have different types of outputs. Output is like, construction of your resolution and all that. So the last part is web VTT. I would recommend you delete this out of this output. This is like a language translation. So now we're not going to be setting up a language translation. So if you leave it like this, it's going to come up with an error, and which would never make you be able to make the channel successful. It will always come up with an error, give you too many error message, that won't allow you to create the channel successful. So you have to delete this off, and we'll move to the next part. Now we'll be going to the input to define our input, because if you don't define your input, you can't get the outcoming data that's coming from the encoder. So now we're going to go to input. This is the input. So once you go to the left hand side, you get to have the opportunity to add tweaker, to add an input. This is the input which we created earlier today on the media live. That was the input I created. So you select the input you created before now to get the data that will be coming from the encoder. So once you click on it, you're going to get a URL. This is the URL you're going to be using on the encoder for it to catch what the encoder is bringing in. This, like I explained before, this is Christopher. The Christo was the application I created, which is the description that was added to the, like I said, that will be added to the URL. This is the example of it. This is the URL. Sorry, I covered this up. This is kind of security, for security purpose. So you get the Christopher. This is the application, and the key. This is the file. Like I said, you should differentiate both of them in order for you to recognize the two channels you're creating. I'm sorry, before now I didn't talk about the ingest, the two URL you'll be creating, because you have the standard and the single. So right now this is the standard platform. If you're making a MP4, I recommend you use a single, because that's you're going to be getting, the purpose of this is, once you're using one of the URL, if you could get data from that same, if you could get data from the same encoder that gives the same the same video script that is coming out from the encoder, you could, once this one failed, it could automatically use the second one. That is the purpose of making two pipeline. This is one pipeline, this is second pipeline, but I recommend you use two while you are using the RTMP. But if you are using MP4, you should use a single pipeline. I'm sorry I didn't explain that before now. So lastly, you're going to give it a name as well. So then you're going to kakuni. What it means, you're going to check if it's okay or not. Once you click on it, it's going to give you this whole description, different settings it's in it. So here we won't be touching this because we don't want to go deep. I just wanted to give a little brief of how to get your stream live. So this is much more another settings to make your video more enhanced than other. So this is the green box represents or define your channel was your input was created successfully. So this, if you find this green box in any of my video, it represents what you create, it was successful. It means the input has been created successfully. Lastly, now you're going to click on create channel not success. So this, once you click on this, it will create your channel successfully for you. Now then you will find this this screen displayed to you. So this is where you start your channel and stop your channel. So over here it's showing creating, which means if you click on that button, it takes like maybe 10 seconds or 20 seconds to create this. Maybe 10 seconds to create your channel. So if you start your channel, it starts your channel. Remember, once you start your channel, it creates cost already. So if you are not ready to stream yet, do not start the channel. Because once you start your channel, the cost starts creating. So this is where you start your channel, and this is where you stop your channel. So this is the little description of how to create the channel. So next, we will go into the last part that I will have to describe or show you how you're going to use the key, so the URL that was created from the input, to put it on your encoder. I'll be using an encoder from software that is installed into a camera, an Axis camera. The software name is called ComStreamer. We're going to be using the ComStreamer encoder software to distribute our live stream. Now, like I said, we're going to be using the ComStreamer encoder. Now we're going to be setting the ComStreamer. This is just, I don't know what kind of encoder you may be using. You may be using a hardware or a software. Right now, this is what I used on this description, or on this lesson. It's a software. This is ComStreamer software. So, like I said, this is the ROTMP encoder software that distributes. That is going to be distributing our live stream to the AWS channel. That's from the AWS channel. It has to give it back to the from this place it has to give it to the Media Live. From the Media Live, it has to give it to the media package, for the media package to distribute it out to your viewers. Now, I gave it a name, Live 1. So I collected the URL which was created, although this is different from the other one. I got this, I had two examples. The other one was kind of a little more difficult than this, so I discovered the easy way to make this live stream. So I have to take this display to show you guys. It's same, this, and it's just an encoding, the giving out of your data, same way. So you're going to put your ROTMP, the full URL of your ROTMP in here. Then you start. Over here, if you're using the same software, you're going to set your video quality and all that, your audio quality, and also then you start your live streaming. So this is the description of it. That was the URL. You have to copy this URL and bring it down here, just like this. Same URL. You could use any of this. You could use the last one, or you could use the first one. You could use any of the URL, put it on your encoder, and you get your live streaming, your video live. So you go to your media package. This is the media package where you have to preview your live, your input, if it's coming in, and if it's how your viewers are going to be seeing it. You have to preview it before you could get the URL from. This is the URL which you're going to give out, that enables you to check your stream, your live stream on any of the browsers. You could use your Safari, or you use your VLC, to check your live streaming. Once you click on play, it gives you this little screen in order for you to view or preview your incoming data. So once you get this, sure, you're done with creating of a channel in AWS. So this is the simple, or the short form for you to create a channel on AWS. But next, we're coming up with CLI form of creating a channel. I think that is the most simplest, but it's coding. You have to get the JSON file to create that. So thank you. If you enjoy this little presentation, thank you and God bless. Arigatou gozaimasu.